Alright, I hope everyone's having a really good morning, and I'm here starting my weekly, series of reviews for the episodes for Disney Plus's Daredevil Born Again, and I'm doing something a little different here, because I'm not ready to do a full-on face reveal for the channel yet. I'm just recording in my good old trusty Ninja Turtles mask for Michelangelo here. I've had this since 2014, so it works, I think. I think it just makes the reviews kind of fun here, but I'm here talking about the return of one of my favorite Marvel shows of all time, Daredevil, which started in 2015 and then ran until 2019 until it was canceled. We were all a lot of us were heartbroken that day just because one of the best Marvel shows had gotten canceled, but now, after hearing about it for years and hearing about a bunch of different reshoots and everything and bringing in different writers and actors and everything, we finally know basically that this new version of Daredevil that's airing right now on Disney Plus called Daredevil Born Again is hopefully going to be just as good or even better than the original Netflix version, because this is basically a Netflix season 4 is what the showrunners and writers and people who have been in the show, actual actors, have called it. They've referred to it as season 4 of the Netflix series, so I'm just really pumped, really ecstatic that Daredevil is back, and we're going to be seeing him for the next few weeks in 9 brand new episodes of Born Again Season 1. So today I'm going to talk about Episode 1 of Daredevil Born Again, because we technically got 2 episodes, but in this video I'm going to talk about Episode 1, which is called Heaven's Half Hour. So, where to really start with this? This is a crazy episode. It literally just starts, right away. Literally we see, the Marvel television logos and hear music, really upbeat, happy music, and then we see the law firm of Murdoch, Karen, and Page. Well, not Murdoch, Karen, and Page, you know what I mean, Murdoch, Nelson, and Page, yeah, that. It's just hard to remember everyone's names sometimes, even though you've seen the show a lot. There's just so many characters, but basically, we've known these characters for years because they're the main characters in the show, but of Matt Murdock, Foggy Nelson, and Karen Page, they're all, walking out of their law firm, heading out into the streets because they're going to go to Josie's bar, which you might remember from the old Netflix series. It's one of the iconic locations from the series. They're all basically going to go there to have a fun night out. They're all having fun, but you can tell something's off about this. This is really weird because Foggy is saying stuff forget the past and embrace the future and all this sort of stuff. So something just feels off about it. But basically they want to feel really happy. All 3 of them are going out on a fun night out, and they're going to go to Josie's bar for a drink, and then that's pretty much what happens. They go there, and then literally they're just, chatting up, and there's some new characters there. There's new characters that I probably don't remember the exact names of yet because we haven't seen a lot of them yet. But there's new people that are going to work at Murdoch and McDuffie, which is Matt's new law firm. So basically we're introduced to those characters, and then we see some characters returning from the original Netflix show, in the bar itself, Josie the bar owner and some other random civilians and stuff. So what they're basically trying to show in this beginning is just nostalgia for the past, for all those original 3 seasons of Daredevil, and then they're trying to get you prepared for what's about to happen next, because it's very serious, very dark and serious. So basically what happens next is, this is gonna sound shocking for people who haven't seen the show yet, is Foggy gets a phone call that one of his friends, I think his name was Bentley or something. I'm trying to just remember because so much happens in this episode, and I've seen it twice, but there's still so much. But he basically gets a phone call from one of his buddies that he works with called Bentley, and he's saying someone's about to break into his house and something's off, and then you hear him on the phone getting assaulted, attacked, and then Matt basically springs into action because he's Daredevil, and he's worried about what's happening to this like Bentley person. But then he gets there, and this is like the shocking part. He finds out this was all like staged by Benjamin Poindexter, the guy you may remember is Bullseye from like the comics and also season 3 of the Netflix show. He basically staged the entire thing for Daredevil to go there just so, here it comes, just so he can assassinate Foggy right out in the open. And that's what he does. He literally just shoots Foggy like right through the chest, and then Foggy like falls to the ground, and then Karen's trying to like keep the pressure on his heart to keep him from dying. It's like really emotional because, you know, if you grew up attached to these characters like throughout the years, it's like really emotional. So like it's just a dark opening. Basically, like you can hear like Foggy's heartbeat while Matt as Daredevil is fighting Bullseye on top, like above them on top of the roof, and they're basically like fighting through this bar, and then they go to like the roof, and Matt's basically like screaming at him like, why did you do this? And he's like, you can tell he's like angry and just more vengeful than we've ever seen him as Daredevil. And then he literally just pushes like Poindexter off the roof. Bullseye, he just drops, and it's like crazy. He breaks like his no killing rule. And then like we see like Foggy die, and then Matt like gets down on his knees and he breaks out like screaming and crying. And I'm like paraphrasing here. I still recommend you see like the show because it's awesome. But like this is just a very dark opening. Like everyone's like broken, like Karen and Matt, and then Foggy's killed, and then it's just crazy. And then it basically does like a time jump from the events of what we just saw from the dark opening. It does a time jump for a whole year to Matt basically being in his new like home, his new like apartment building, and then he's on the way to like Bullseye's trial is what I'll call it. He's on his way there, and then like you see Matt there like giving a memorial, like a speech about Foggy and how great he was, and like there's not gonna be like any more justice, he says, like any more justice served today, because he says my friend is gone and like I'm never gonna see him again. And he's like, it sucks, basically telling like the audience this sucks and there won't be any proper form of justice. So then he tells like everyone there, like the judge and the cops and everything, he tells them to give this man like the worst like punishment they ever can, that the law like abides by, like that the law allows. So basically he gets like, Bullseye gets like, sorry if I'm saying like a lot, but basically Bullseye gets punished and he gets thrown into jail like without leave, like permanently thrown into jail. He can't ever get out. And then right when that happens, like you can see Karen and Matt are both like disappointed, especially Matt. Like he like screams because like in his head he like screams because he knows this isn't the type of punishment that he would have done for like Bullseye, who killed his best friend, but he has to do it because this is like what the law abides by. And then we get another scene of like Karen and Matt talking, and then Karen says she's like been in San Francisco, which is surprising. And then it sounds like they haven't seen each other for a while, and Matt's been calling and leaving her messages and all this sort of stuff. And it's just like a lot of information for the audience that they haven't seen each other for a while, and things are dark and bleak. And then it goes from that scene to our first scene of the return of Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin. He's basically eating his eggs that we always see him eat, like from, if you've seen the original show, he always eats like eggs all the time, like for some reason. But basically, and then it goes from that to him like getting up and then picking a different tuxedo that he's going to wear for the day because he's running for mayor. Spoiler alert, like if you didn't know from the trailers and everything. But he basically puts on a white suit, and then he goes downstairs into like this garage where we find out there's like a meeting going on between these like 5 Russian families and his wife Vanessa, who we see again in the show. And then like Kingpin shows up, but we find a lot of information out in this scene. We find out that Fisk was gone from the events of Hawkeye and Echo. If you didn't watch those shows, go and watch them. we find out since he was like shot in the head by Echo, and then since he was broken down like mentally and his mind was like shattered by Echo as well, we found out he's been gone for like months healing and like trying to get his mind put back together so he can run for mayor in New York. So it's just like all this crazy information. Like, that's why I'm describing it like this. It's just insane that he's basically been gone, missing for months, but while he was recovering, Vanessa continued to run their illegal stuff on the side, like their illegal, how do I describe it? Their illegal operation. She like kept running and she became like Miss Kingpin, as they call her. But then we get like this emotional scene of like Fist saying like he wants her back and she doesn't really look like she wants him, but then Fist says it's time, and it's basically me telling the audience that it's time for him to run to mayor, like to start to just like get up and running with it. So again, lots of information in this episode, so if I'm missing some stuff, it's just because I was excited for the return of the show and like at a loss for words at how great it was with like all the action and the cinematography and the acting. It was just, it couldn't have been better than I ever wanted it. Like, and this coming from like a massive Netflix Daredevil show fan. So yeah, so let me get back on track. After that, we get basically, like if I'm remembering correctly, we get more like new scenes of new characters. We get like Matt back at his new law firm, and then we find out like he's chatting with McDuffie, that other chick. Like, again, she's from the Daredevil comics, I know, but from the newer ones, basically. In the comics, from what I know, her and Matt have like a romantic relationship, but it doesn't look like this show is doing that or adapting that, at least it looks like, because she like sets up Matt with this other person. I think her name's Dr. Glenn. Again, I'm trying to remember all the new names, but she basically sends Matt out on a coffee date without him knowing it to meet this Dr. Glenn person, and at first they don't want anything to do with each other. Like, they both think this is weird, like why would McDuffie do this, she lied, and blah 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 and all that stuff. You gotta see the episode again to get all of it, but literally they aren't hitting it off at first, but then literally a few minutes later, after they're done laughing and talking, they start to hit it off. And then in the next scene, Matt goes back to the law firm, and then we basically find out he's like not yelling at, but he's telling McDuffie like, why would you do this, this is awkward, this is weird, don't do stuff like that again. And she's like smirking and saying, well, it seems to have worked. And then he's not denying it, and then Matt says like, give me her phone number, and then he goes into another room in the same place in the McDuffie offices is what I'll call it. He goes there to meet that ex-person. I'm trying to remember his name. Like, again, there's so many like new characters that I'm gonna have to see like the episodes more than once or watch all of them again when they all come out. But basically there's this another new character that used to be like an ex-police officer, and he hated, they made it sound like he hated like vigilantes in the beginning of the show, but then literally we find out later on that he like figures out who Matt is because Matt's up on the roof after he threw Bullseye off, and Matt's like screaming and crying and breaking down, and then the guy sees him and goes like, Matt. So he figures out, because he sees Daredevil throw his mask off the roof, as we get like the intro to the show, by seamless intro, by the way. It was an awesome like way to get the intro with the title card and the music playing. It was awesome. But yeah, let me get back on track. So basically he goes into like another room to talk to this person who's basically like the show's new version of, I would say like their new version of Ben Urich, but there's another character introduced in the second episode that's directly related to Ben Urich, so I can't really say that, but I'll call him like Ben Urich 2.0 for now. He basically tells Matt that he's been doing a bunch of like digging up on Fisk, and everything looks too legit, like he's playing the game and staged everything. And then Matt says, well, if I knew him, like since I know him really well, he might be a changed man, but I don't fully trust him. And then the guy says like, well, do you want to pursue him? And then Matt says, no, we're not going to pursue this. This isn't our place. Like, this isn't our field, because he doesn't want to get involved with Kingpin again. But then right after that, Matt's back in his apartment, and he literally here's Fisk, talking on the TV as he's chopping some stuff, and then he's like chopping it like really fast. But he basically like here's Fisk on the TV talking about how he loves New York and he's gonna make it a better place and all this. So he thinks back at his apartment, he thinks maybe Fisk is different. Maybe I should go and talk to him. So right after that scene, we get another scene that was showed a bunch in the trailers where basically Matt goes to meet up with Fisk in the diner, which used to be Becky's diner, if you remember from the Daredevil original seasons, but now it's a different one. And basically him and Fisk go meet up there, and then Fisk is telling him a bunch of stuff about what happened like from Echo and all this stuff, and how he's a different man now and he wants to fight and make New York a better place. And then he asks like Matt some personal questions, but basically like long story short, I'll just cut through it. They both threaten each other, like, because Matt says like, if you go back to any of your old ways at all, then I will take you out. But then Fish shuts that down by saying like, oh, if you do anything odd, then I'll mess you up too. So basically they're both at like crossroads, like they don't want to hate each other right now, but if either one of them goes back to their old ways, then you know what'll happen with that, because if you know anything about Daredevil and Kingpin, like from anything. So yeah, so basically there's that, and then there's the final shots of the episode, which are basically Fisk giving like, not really a speech, but Fisk like looking down over like New York, and then you see Vanessa show up, and you find out some other like startling information that basically while Fisk was gone for months, Vanessa cheated on him with somebody else. So that was like crazy. And then Vanessa says, well, are you gonna kill him? And then Fisk says, no, I'm not the same man that I once was, so he'll be fine, like something along that lines. Again, I'm doing a lot of paraphrasing because you should definitely watch the show, it's awesome. But yeah, there's basically like that going on with Fisk standing up there and looking down over the city, and we get like a light on him. It's like a yellowish dark light, and then on the background, I noticed this on two different rewatches. While Fisk is looking down, you see the show's first appearance of Muse, who's like a really deranged, like psychopathic killer from the Marvel Daredevil comics. You see him basically spray painting like Fisk, the mayor of New York, like a mural of him on a wall, like down below, while Matt walks past. Like it's just crazy. There's so much going on, like I said, in this first episode. But yeah, they're establishing new stories, new characters, the kind of tone that the show is going to be going for. So hopefully I covered most of the important things from the first episode, and like they had a just banger music all around, like songs and soundtracks in the show so far. So again, I couldn't recommend it enough. The return of Daredevil on Disney Plus. So hopefully you guys enjoyed my review. I was doing a lot of like paraphrasing and jumping around just because there was so much to cover from this hour-long first episode of Daredevil Born Again on Disney Plus. But yeah, I just wanted to record my initial like thoughts after seeing the episode twice, because I watched it once when it came out on Tuesday, and then once like a few hours ago, and I just wanted to record my thoughts on the entire first episode, which was called Heaven's Half Hours. So yeah, so I hope you guys have a good rest of your Tuesday over here, and I'll definitely be reviewing and doing like these quick like random thought analysis on the other episodes for Daredevil Born Again, because I'm just really happy that the show's back, and hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and just stay having fun or whatever it is that you do in these times. So yeah, peace.